What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. My name is Jared. This is the LVME, and we are here today because Oliver Anthony has released brand new music yesterday called 90 Some Chevy. And now listen, as my subscribers and longtime viewers know, Oliver is not typically the type of music that I react to on my channel. I don't just do reactions, but when I do, they tend to be almost always independent hip hop. That's my lane. I've been a hip hop head for more than 35 years. But Oliver has just captured my imagination and my spirit so much, just like he has so many people across the globe, that I can't wait to hear his new music, and I've really enjoyed watching it with you all. I love interacting in the comments, talking about what's going on, talking about what this man has to say. He's had some very interesting opinions that he's put out there, and that has sparked just so much conversation. In fact, after we watch this video together, we're also going to spend just a little bit of time, not long, talking about his recent appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast, which I would encourage you to check out if you haven't seen that yet either. So, finally, if this is your first time hanging out with me, please know that because of the aforementioned hip-hop head that I am, I tend to use that terminology when I'm talking about music. So I'm going to give a quick explainer for some terms I might use. Like I might say Oliver has great bars. What that means is in rap music, like your real basic rap music, typical rap music is going to be a song's going to have 3 verses and 3 choruses. A verse is made up of 16 what are called bars. A bar is simply a quatrain. It's a 4-line stanza, okay? So if I say Oliver has great bars, I'm specifically referring to not just the lyrical content, but the way that those lyrics are arranged as well. So I might talk about his flow or his cadence, things like that. It's just when I get in the spirit of the music, that's the terminology I use because that's what I'm used to using. So that might make a little more sense for those of you that wonder what the heck I'm saying. All right. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and pop this video up here. And from what I understand, this is the 3rd song that he did when he first recorded Richmond, North of Richmond, and I Want to Go Home, and now this one with Radio West Virginia. So those 2 songs have been amazing, obviously, and I'm expecting no less from this one, although the title makes me think we might be in for something slightly different than the first 2, which seem to be kind of opinionated and message heavy. So let's see what we got here, everybody. Let's go ahead. I'm going to bring this up a little easier for me to see. And here we go. Oliver Anthony, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. I am going to do the same. Here we are.
That old darling of mine is like a 90-some Chevy. She rides just right when you turn her on. The only thing sounds better than that old 350 is when she's running up to kiss me. When I get home, it's been a hard day.
All right.
Tell you, darling, it's been a long week.
Okay.
Might have to load up the dogs, go and listen to the frogs croaking down in the creek. We can take her nice and slow, a case of beer and a Zemco. Let the sun sink good and low. There ain't no telling where we'll go.
Or he ends this this opening verse here. One of the things I really like about this man is the simplicity of his music. It's one of the reasons I tend to like rap music. Because for me, it's much less about the music, or when I'm listening to rap, like a lot of people, they're all about the beats. Some of us are all about the lyrics. I'm all about the lyrics. Like, I don't really care so much about a beat. I mean, I appreciate it, don't get me wrong, but for me, it's always been what's being said and how it's being said. And the stronger the message and the more feeling that's inside the performer, the less reliance you need on actual music or instruments. And I found that, I think, is one of the things that really attracts me to Anthony's music here. And so we've got what appears to be like a nice little love song here. Although I gotta say, I kind of laughed in the beginning because he's a country boy. Obviously, that goes without saying, right? So his woman's going to be a country woman because he's comparing his woman to a 1990s Chevy. And I just got to say, as a city boy, And my girl is most definitely a city girl. If I told her she was like a 90 some Chevy, she might feel like smacking me upside the head. Really liking the simplicity of what he's saying here. I'm happy actually. This if this is what the whole song is, which is a nice, cute little love song, dude, that's great because he's got a marvelous voice. There's instances of it where it's so deep. It reminds me a little bit of Johnny Cash. One of my relatives, I'm really familiar with his music. I might talk about I'm being a hip hop head, but I can talk about Johnny Cash all day. I'm related to him. I have every single piece of music the man ever put out. And I actually said something on a video the other day that people found confusing when I said that I didn't consider him a country singer. I worded that poorly. I feel Johnny Cash transcended country music and no longer that definition does not define what he is at all. Anyways, sorry for rambling. Here we go.
90 some Chevy, she rides just right when you turn her on.
Rides
The
just right
only
when you turn
thing
her on.
sounds better
Come
than
on,
that
dog.
old 350s when she's running up to kiss me. When I get home, it's
Yeah.
been a hard day. I'll tell you, darling, it's been a long week. Might have to load up the dogs, go and listen to the frogs croaking down in the creek. We
I would
can
love to
take
do
her
that.
nice and slow, a case of beer and a Zemco. Let the sun sink good and low. There ain't no telling where we'll go in the back of that 90-some Chevy.
Was nice.
In the back of that 90-some Chevy.
Oh, we get a little actual video action in this one.
Well, she's hotter than hell, I'm higher than gas.
Oh.
She's sweeter than honey, I'm poor
There
white
you go.
trash. She ain't had a check that I couldn't cash. I guess if she's my Carter, then I'm her cash.
Ah.
And I've been sitting around.
Bars. She's my Carter and I'm her Cash. Just I was talking about Johnny Cash earlier. June Carter, Johnny Cash. I mean, I don't think does anybody on Earth not know that story? I mean, one of the most beautiful, beautiful love stories I think in all of music. It was so sad. Like after she died, I mean, Johnny was, 90 days later, roughly. You know, I mean, the man died of a broken heart. But I like the mix of Anthony's voice when he's got the deep resonating, and then it kind of mixes in with that raspy stuff. And I really like that set of bars right there. That was a nice little group right there. We're gonna run that back. I really liked it. I almost feel like a lot of times he's almost like a rapper. Like it sounds like it in my ear when he gets going like that a little bit. I'm like, yeah.
Honey, I'm poor white trash.
Oops,
She
I
ain't
didn't quite get it
had a
far.
check. Thing sounds better than some Chevy.
All right, here we go.
Well, she's hotter than hell. I'm higher than gas. She's sweeter than honey. I'm poor white
Yeah.
trash. She ain't had a check that I couldn't cash. I guess if she's my Carter, then I'm her cash.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting around drinking on it. I guess I'm gonna have to get me a ring and
Oh.
get it on it. 'Cause that old darling of mine is like a 90-some Chevy. She rides just right when you turn her on. The only thing sounds better than that old 350s when she's running up to kiss me. When I get home, it's been a hard day. I tell you, darling, it's been a long week.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not laughing at the song. This is a beautiful song. It's just it's a funny comparison. I mean, he's comparing his woman to a '90 Chevy, and I think it sounds better than her kiss coming with a 350 motor. I love it, man. This is awesome. This is good. It's a nice break, kind of from the not the heavier songs, but they were kind of heavy, you know. The first the first two had a lot of just a lot of weight and a lot of angst behind them.
Might have to load up the dogs, go and listen to the frogs croaking down in the creek.
I wish I could do that
We
right now.
can take her nice and slow, a case of beer and a 7 cold. Let the sun sink good and low. There ain't no telling where we'll go in the back of that 90-some Chevy.
I love that little break in his voice right there on that.
In the back of that 90-some Chevy. That old darling of mine's like a 90-some Chevy. She rides just right when you turn her on.
Well, this is a nice change of pace here from Mr. Oliver Anthony. That was great. Very nice. All his songs. Oops, I just started it again. Hold on. My bad. All of his songs do not need to have such a message in them. I mean, that one had a nice message too, a nice little message about love and about that nice feeling. Like, and the nice thing about a 90-some Chevy, I mean, what's he saying? He's saying it's comfortable, it rides well. Like, what does he mean by that? Like, we go good together. Like, we fit. I know you, you know me. We mesh together well. We've been together a long time. And that's a beautiful thought, you know what I mean? And I hope this song right here blows up just like his other ones. And I would like to see more of this type of music from him. The guy is such a talented musician. He writes simple yet powerful music, and he can apparently do the same thing with like a nice little love song like this. Now, the other thing I did want to talk about real quick was he did make an appearance on Joe Rogan, which is just talk about a couple of feats out of nowhere. You got his Billboard Hot 100 back-to-back weeks, the only artist with no prior chart-topping history to ever debut at the top of that list. And then the Joe Rogan Experience is, if you don't know somehow, it's the biggest media in the world. Like, there is no show on TV, radio, anywhere that's bigger than that. I mean, the last I heard, he was getting something like 90 million downloads a month, and this was I think that was before the Spotify move. It's an incredible platform, and to go from a complete unknown to a guest on that show is absolutely amazing. And he said a few things on there that I thought were pretty interesting. Like they talked about Rainn Wilson. Like, if you don't know who that is, he played Dwight on The Office, and this guy is just a fine example of a rich idiot who doesn't get it. They're talking about, like, he was all offended because he chose to look at the welfare line. If you're 5'3" and 300 pounds, that taxes ought not to be paying for your fudge rounds while we got people in the street starving. And Rainn Wilson chooses to ignore the whole message of the song and focus on that and say, well, I would have written a song about the CEOs who avoid all these taxes and make 400 times the amount of the average worker. And it's just typical liberal nonsense, and it's typical rich man nonsense, okay? Like, I'm not going to defend CEO pay here, but on one thing that is very true is there's a reason a CEO makes more than the average factory worker. It's based on responsibility. The more responsibility you have, the higher you pay. The less responsibility you have, the lower your pay. That may not justify some of these outrageous salaries, but the reason that they have them and the reason they get these tax breaks that he was talking about as well is because of who? Why do corporations get the tax breaks that they have? Why does Amazon pay zero in taxes? They're not cheating. It's because of the rich men in Richmond who set that shit up. So Rainn Wilson's just a fine example of a millionaire bitching about billionaires being out of touch. And there's nothing wrong with people sharing that opinion about welfare. I am of the same opinion. I think welfare should be something that is there for people who need it, but I fail to understand why people are going to the Starbucks my daughter worked at in the Smiths, like I said on that other video, and spending their food stamp card buying Starbucks when I'm driving by people in the streets who are literally starving to death in Las Vegas, when we got like 3,000 people living in tunnels beneath the city of Las Vegas, but we've got people with hundreds of dollars in their wallets and they're using EBT cards. It's wrong. It's not what the system was created for. And sharing that opinion doesn't make you some fucking right winger. It doesn't make you out of touch. It doesn't make you a hater. It doesn't make you a Republican. I mean, and that's the other thing that they talked about on there. And I'll end here with this. He talked about it, his song being mentioned in the Republican debates, and everybody found that kind of interesting because those were basically, as he pointed out in the JRE interview, the very rich men north of Richmond that he was referring to. But it is kind of ironic to me that right now, if you were to align one of the two political parties closest to his viewpoints, or closest to maybe not his viewpoints, but having solutions for the angst that a lot of us are feeling, it is the Republican Party, which is just weird. Because if you were to go back to the 1980s, say, it would be the exact opposite. I feel like Oliver Anthony would be a massive star if this were 1980. He would be like Bruce Springsteen, who a hero. Bruce Springsteen, a absolute hero of the left. And what do we hear resonating through the 80s? Born in the USA, baby. Mr. Patriotic, Mr. Working Class man, had all that support from the left. And now it's like completely flip-flopped, where you've got one political party seeing Oliver Anthony and basically reacting with disdain, going, ah, Jill, gross, racist, this, that, bigot, whatever. And then you have the other party, typically associated with the wealthy over the course of history, now looking to embrace more of the working class man and embracing Oliver Anthony. It's a wild, wild time to live in. And I'm going to end the video with this. Whatever Oliver's opinions are, he should be able to share them without all of the left freaking out. Opinions are something all of us have, and there's so much anti-free speech going on in this country right now. It's just kind of shocking to me. And not only the fact is it anti-free speech, but you get labeled. If you have an opinion like on one little thing that the left disagrees with, then you get labeled with like being some sort of bigot or phobic or this or that, when that's never the case, hardly ever the case. And so a lot of people ask how they can support this channel, and I hate just saying, oh, send money to PayPal or whatever. Don't give me money just because I made a YouTube video. Instead, I created this bumper sticker right here. And if you want to support this channel, you can buy this from my eBay store. You can find the links right in the description below, or you can just go to thelvme.com. It's only $5. You can buy with confidence. I'm a longtime eBay seller. You'll be covered by all of the eBay protections. I ship items on the regular, and all of the proceeds will go directly towards helping out this channel, getting better cameras, getting more stuff, and making the channel overall a better experience. But you can support the channel and also take a small stand, make a small statement in support of free speech at a time in our country when it seems like that is so much under attack. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Go to the LVME.com, grab one of those stickers. Give me a like, a sub if you're down. I really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed hanging out with you. I will get back to as many comments as I can, so please hit me up. I will see you all in the next one, all right? Peace.